Hello, Merry Christmas. Welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cindy. So this is probably going to be my last video of the year unless something really crazy happens between sort of now and the 31st. So let me take this opportunity to, first of all, thank each and every one of you for your incredible support of me, of my family, as we've moved through a rather difficult year, but mostly for my channel. The support of both of the channels has been overwhelming and humbling, and I'm incredibly grateful. I am just convinced that I have the best viewers and the best subscribers on the planet. We may not be huge in numbers, but boy, oh boy, are we mighty. So, thank you. I wish each and every one of you a season that is blessed, that is happy, that is prosperous, and that is filled with love and, of course, gratitude. Thank you for the donations, for the support, the comments, the likes, all of it. It's incredible, and I thank you. Okay, so let's get going here. All right, so Manson, yep, he said no. He's a no on the Build Back Better. So I don't know if I'm remembering clearly, but I think the last time I looked at Build Back Better, I said something along the lines of it was going to feel like it was done and then it wouldn't be done. So I'm not sure, but I've got my pendulum and there's just a few quick questions I want to ask the pendulum because this card reading for this last reading of the year is going to be taking a look at Donald Trump because it definitely looks like karma has come a knocking on his door. Okay, so let's get the pendulum questions done first. Okay, so pendulum's going back and forth, so it's ready to talk. Show me yes. And you'll see it pivots into a back and forth. Show me no. And it goes around and around. You are going to see some slight movement in my hand. That is the energy of the pendulum. Here we go. Will Build Back Better in some version make it to Biden's desk within the first 6 months of 2022? Is that Build Back Better going to come into law? Okay, I'm still getting a really strong yes on that. And certainly every little piece of fire that Manson is experiencing right now, whether it's from the White House or from his colleagues or from his own constituents, who I gather some of them are just right ripped. He just deserves it. He has been playing games for months and months and months. And, that behavior is why people have so much trouble with politicians. He has just become the poster child of it. Well, on the Democratic Party, because we're not even going to go into the Republican Party. That's that. Is Manson going to suffer any sort of long-term, significant political or career disappointments or loss of support as a result of the decisions he's making now? Yeah. So, this is kind of the thing. He can have all the rich donors he wants. The donors can still only vote, once, right? What he's done now has incredibly hurt the people of West Virginia. And I think, even though he's not up for re-election, I don't think for 4 years or something, there's still going to be a price he pays. And I want to say between now and then. Okay. The voting rights. So what has happened is oh my goodness, needs to stage this whole room, is that Joe Biden has said he is now focusing on voting rights. I have long said that some version is going to get through and is going to pass. It's going to make it onto his desk. It's going to be signed into law. And to some degree, it's going to be able to reverse some of the kind of crazy shenanigans that have been going on state by state by state. So, voting rights. Let's talk about voting rights, shall we? Is there going to be a comprehensive voting right bill or bills that make it to Biden's desk within the next 3 or 4 months, so March, April? Is there going to be something in place that protects democracy and protects the voters? Yeah. Okay. So, there's that. Just a quick little question on Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden going to remain president until the last day of this term? Yes. Okay. Biden has always said he was going to be a one-term president. He came in to kind of fix the mess left by you-know-who. So question is at this point, energetically, is Biden leaning towards running for a second term? Okay, that's a no. That's a no. All right. Let's take a look at the cards and see what they have to say. So the last little while has been just kind of difficult for Trump and I think the Trump family. You have all those sort of emails coming out from the January 6th commission, so those are a disaster. And, Fox News has its own explaining to you, but this is the problem, is that Fox News viewers, by and large, are not getting their news from anywhere else. And so they aren't really knowing about the really damaging text messages that were sent by Fox personalities telling Mattos to stop this thing, get Trump to pull back, get Trump to make an announcement, tell these people to settle down and go home. I don't know that that they're hearing these messages, okay? And so that's kind of a concern, but that doesn't mean that the rest of us aren't hearing it. And it doesn't mean that energetically there isn't going to be some kind of hit. And it feels residual, okay? It sort of just feels like it's just going to keep on keeping on. So, let's take a look at Trump. Apparently, he's now being sued by the people who invested in that, that big media, company that he was going to build that was going to tell the American people nothing but the Trump truth. Help us all. You've got New York coming after him. In a really significant way, okay? But this is the thing. I don't want anybody to forget all of the other investigations. I've lost track. I think it's somewhere like 27, 30 investigations. There's all kinds of court cases still in front of the court. He's losing every single one of them. Michael Cohen is suing him because throwing him back into jail because he wrote a book. In the middle of that whole, the really bad initial surges of COVID. So he's going after Trump. And I think Bill Barr, if I got it right. So there's a lot going on. So let's just take a look, shall we, at Donald Trump. It really does feel like karma's a knocking at his door. Come on down, I have a question. It's cool. It's my little Christmas It's my little Christmas cloth. One of my amazing subscribers actually made this for me. It's part of a table runner. I'm not going to announce her name publicly because sometimes people get kind of funny about that. But thank you. I love it. It is on my brand new table in my brand new house, and I'm thrilled. And the thing is reversible. And so on the other side is like little mini trees. It's very cute. Here we go. Trump and family karma. Trump and family karma. Trump and family karma. No point beating around the bush, right? Oh, if anybody's wondering, hold on here. Sorry, my little computer's slipping on this thing. This is my Christmas penguin t-shirt. It only comes out once a year. It comes out like literally kind of for the Christmas reading kind of. So if you've got these little funny eyes, actually you just got a tummy staring at you. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. Trump, his family, karma. What is this looking like? What's going to happen for them? Wow. His power, his drawing power, is really coming to it's starting to really slow down in significant ways. This past weekend, he was doing the, I don't even know what it was called. It was that little tour he was doing, I think in 4 cities, I'm not even sure, with Bill O'Reilly, right? And this was going to be we're going to come out there and we're going to tell, Americans the truth. Well, yeah, nobody's buying tickets. He had this one arena apparently has a capacity for like 17,000 people, and there was like 5,000 that showed up. They moved all the people from the cheap seats down onto the floor so it would at least look, as if there was a crowd in there. But yeah, so slowly but surely, his hold is starting to let go. And listen, you're always going to have those 5,000 people, right? But more and more, honestly, I think what's damaged him, despite all of the crazy, horrible, horrible things that he did, what's actually damaging him is that those very people who donated, who marched, who went to, Washington, who attacked the seat of your government, those people feel abandoned by him. And again, one has to ask, what makes them think that they're so special that he wouldn't treat them exactly the way he treats everybody else in his life? But hey, good for them. So he is losing his power, okay, his reach, his grasp. The emperor truly has no clothes. More and more, you are going to see people starting to, and I've said this before, quietly back off and start to abandon him. His, these primary challenges that he's got, his candidates, for the most part, are not winning. So, again, the things that politicians were hanging on to, hanging on to Trump to get, to receive, to achieve, it doesn't appear like it's working very well. Now, what you do have is you have some real, Trump kind of candidates out there who are so much more Trumpy, they outdo Trump, frankly. But by and large, they're going to be viewed as crackpots, okay? So this is it. Now, let me just take a moment to explain something really quickly kind of about karma. Because people tend to hear the word karma and they go, oh, well, bad stuff is coming. Okay? Karma is this. Karma is the reaction to an action. It really is that simple. So what you put out reacts and comes back. So one of the things that is for good or not so good, one of the things that sort of distinguishes the presidency was the amount of fear, anxiety, worry, stress, grief, and horror that resulted in that person being in the White House. He put the country through what is now boiling. We're almost at like 6 years, really, a year for the leading up to it, the 4 years in the White House, the year that he still won't shut up and go away after, of just every lower vibration energy that you can think of. He amplified it, he magnified it, he swirled it around, and he sent it out there. In doing so, he created that really that energy that you are still trying to combat, and in fact that we as a globe are trying to combat, which is he kind of gave permission for those people who are not operating in the light, who are not operating with higher consciousness, to really become empowered, because somebody in power, whether we liked it or not, was transmitting that this was not only good, it was admirable, it was necessary, it was noble. So a whole bunch of people who society had not given permission to for a very, very long time, for very, very good reasons, got their permission. So when karma comes knocking, one of the things that it does is it returns those circumstances to you. So, is it safe to say that right now Trump is scared and anxious and afraid and feeling impotent and feeling like he doesn't know what tomorrow's going to bring? Yeah, that's where he is. So that is the emotional trauma that he has inflicted coming back, and he is now experiencing it. And the thing is, because this guy is so ego-based, to him, it feels like everything. It is everything. It is his identity. It is his world as he knows it. It is his ambitions. It is his money. It is his reputation, his good name, God help us. All of it. And so emotionally, that seems to be where he's at right now. He is just spinning around in these lower vibrational energies. Now, what's coming down the road for him is that there are going to start being the physical, the tangible, if you will, results of reaction to an action. So this is where you get, New York, state or city. This is where you get investigations. This, Georgia's still investigating. There's all kinds of places all over the place that are still investigating him. There's just so much out there that we honestly tend to lose track of who's doing what and what the status of it is. But the physical, the tangible results are starting to come home to roost. There has been like a year, okay, of him losing every lawsuit that goes before the court. He cannot catch a break, and nor should he catch a break, because he's as corrupt can be, based on what we can see and know of him. So what is going to start happening now is you're going to start seeing like evidence of the investigations. Okay, so to some degree that's kind of happening with the January 6th commission, right? All this stuff is coming out, none of it looks good for him. But more so, the things that are actually going to directly really impact him. And that is, indictments. That is charges being laid. And, there's going to be a lot of, I think we all came familiar with, during the Mueller investigation, we became familiar with that phrase, talking indictment, right? So the indictment just doesn't list the charges and sort of a brief synopsis. It gives chapter and verse. There's going to be a lot of that, because that is one of the way in which, the prosecutors can get out the information that people want to know, and frankly, people need to know. And to ensure that it's very clear to those critics that, no, we have the goods on him. This isn't some shot in the dark here. We have the goods on him. He is going to continue to see his world crumble, but this is the thing. It's going to start crumbling more and more quickly. It's going to start feeling as if there is, literally as if his entire world is starting to spin out of control. And because of that, you are seeing and going to see him sort of fall a little deeper and deeper into that space that he lives in. So anticipate in the new year, and a lot of the stuff that's gotten sort of held off out of New York had to do with Cy Vance and the fact that he's retiring. So they were waiting to bring in for his replacement to walk in the door, sit his butt down, put his briefcase on the table, and pick up a pen. And that's where you're going to see things moving forward. They didn't want to bring this forward under someone who was on their way out the door. They wanted to hold it in abeyance until the new guy came in the door. And I can't remember this person's name, but he does have previous experience. I believe it is I think he was one of the ones who brought down the Trump University, if I'm not mistaken. So he has experience with these grifters. But you can anticipate Trump sounding more and more unhinged. Let me tell you, showing up to those 3/4 empty and more arenas on this past weekend has been emotionally devastating for him, because that was supposed to be what gave him the emotional lift that he was looking for. That was what was supposed to reassure him that he was still the king in so many people's minds. And what he discovered is that not only is he not king at the same kind of rate or volume, but that the people who were there are coming away saying, oh my God, it was the same old, same old. He's got nothing new to say. He just stands up there and rambles in kind of this deranged way of his. So even those who are foolish enough to pay the money and go, they are not seeing anything new. And this financially, this thing is a disaster, okay? Because if you have rented something that holds 17,000 people, but you only have enough revenue for 5,000, that's not a good thing. Now, granted, the RNC is paying his legal bills, like $1.6 million of them. But you know what? I have to say, it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not as much money as kind of it feels like it doesn't cover as much as it feels like it should. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So it's not like they've scooped everything up and are paying for everything. Okay? I think what they're paying for is those things that will sort of try to get him back, into the White House so that he can, put a stop to all the good works that have been going on for 4 years that Mitch McConnell hasn't managed to bulldoze. He's aware, and I guess this is one of the beauties of karma. He is actually aware that his empire has crumbled. Not is crumbling, but has crumbled. I don't know how many of you may have ever seen this, but it's not that uncommon to see it at some point in our lives. A skid, like a packing skid, where they ship a whole bunch of stuff together. It's like a wooden skid, and then there's the product stacked on top of it. And then there is that like shrink wrap, that saran wrap, and they go around and around and around and around and around to encase, to hold everything together. That is literally the picture they just showed me for what Trump is trying to do. He has this empire that has crumbled, and he is running around trying to shrink wrap it, trying to get it all wrapped so he can contain it, so that he can contain the implosion, so he can stop, the complete, I guess, spreading, right, of the destruction. And it's not going to work. Part of the reason that it's not going to work is that there are people, and some of them very powerful women, who are following the money, because it's all about the money for him. Don't ever forget that. And they have a way of communicating this information that is going to continue to sort of, kind of bring him down, rock his little boat a bit. You have sort of, it's like he's moving forward, but he's moving forward in a way that is radical, that is unhinged, that he's just spiraling. I mean, I've stepped into the energy, and it's like, I think maybe what it might be like to be in a tornado. That crazy, crazy swirling. That's what he feels like. That's what he sees when he looks out. And because we know he's not exactly a master of introspection, he is now starting honestly to see himself not only as weak, but more, he's starting to recognize the strength of those people coming after him. And that includes a lot of people who were talking to the January 6th committee. They're coming forward because they, again, figured out that Trump's not going to support them. He's not going to try to save them from themselves. And so what you have is kind of what you have, right? They're coming forward, they're telling their story, they're letting people know what happened, what went on. And make no mistake, even though it seems quiet, even though we are all frustrated because, like, how long is this going to take? Even though those people who are legally pursuing him are not tired, are not frustrated, are not giving up. This is one of the things I think, let's just give this some thought, right? If I am not mistaken, there's a rule that if you have somebody convicted in your country of a crime, I'm wondering if it's a federal crime, but in any case, they cannot run for president. And this nonsense about him becoming Speaker of the House is nothing more than absolute nonsense. I repeat, he's not well. I don't know what's wrong with him. But he's not as robust as he wants the world to believe. I think his energy is considerably diminished. I almost wonder a little bit if he may not, kind of in a significant way, be dealing with sort of like, residual effects of COVID. I don't know that, just a feeling. But there's definitely, issues. The other thing I want to mention here is that Liz Cheney, who, most of us don't agree with in terms of her policies or her politics, but she has been throwing around that word criminal liability a whole lot lately. And this is interesting because how all of the books that have come out, one of the things that really comes across clearly is that people in his circle are just loath to give this guy bad news, right? They just do not want to give him any bad news because, he kills the messenger. It makes one wonder exactly how much in the dark he is about his own legal liabilities. I wonder, have anybody been brave enough to tell Trump what that means, what she means when she keeps repeating that phrase over and over again? And because we know he is not what you'd call learned in any way, shape, or form, he has no idea, I think, actually what's coming for him. What's coming for him is incredibly bad fortune, incredibly bad luck. There will be loss. He starts with loss and he ends with loss. It's all around him. There's nowhere for him to go. People are going to slow down giving him money. He's not going to be on the receiving end of a lot of that cash going forward. Particularly, I see, frankly, I see it for the next year. But it feels like into the new year, he's going to hit some rather significant walls. Okay, so and not only that, but a lot of the deals are also going to end up coming to light. This is the beginning. Even though it feels as if this has been going on forever and we've all aged 10 years in 4, even though this is the beginning, the avalanche hasn't started. Because here comes judgment. You have death. You have judgment. You have the wheel of fortune. And his bullying tactics, his standing up, screaming, and making demands is soon going to backfire. And he is going to see his dream of returning to the White House shattered. Now, don't misunderstand. He doesn't actually have this dream. What he dreams of is having the power. He likes kind of being the master, the guy who can move all the chess pieces around. That's controlling people. But more and more, not only he, but people are going to see that he's not fit. He's not going to be able to be fit. Not only that, but there's significant financial loss for him. And he's going to be very busy kind of trying to defend himself and trying to write. He's not going to be able to. Okay, that's just the reality of it. He is not going to be able to. And the more he talks and the more he blabs, the worse it's going to make it for himself. And you know what? We all know that that's what happens with him, right? He won't shut up. When he feels attacked, he, what is that? Punch back twice as hard. Well, guess what? He's punching himself in his face. And what looks like a difficult road for those who are going after him, whether it is the 1-6, whether it is prosecutors in New York state or city, whether it is Georgia, whether it is, all these other places that are coming after him, they are moving to a place where they are coming out of the muck and they are going to start picking up momentum and picking up speed as they go forward. And there he is. There he is. And there's the Queen of Swords, because you know what? It was always going to be women that brought him down. I myself have always been of the opinion it was not one as much as it was a lot of them. A lot of them. And I'll tell you why I've always thought that. It's because if there's one thing I think that we've sort of learned in the last while, is that he seems to be able to, a lot of stuff doesn't stick to him. It just doesn't, right? Tough on Don. But when you have stuff coming at you from all directions, all the time, eventually just the sheer volume of it brings you down. And it just so happens that women are in some of these very, very powerful positions. Now, I wonder if they're celebrating this Christmas, if on some level of their consciousness they're wondering if this is the last Christmas as they know it or knew it. It's not just going to be him that falls. He has children, and they were too intricately involved. They're also going to fall. The corporation is going to fall. He personally is going to fall. So, that's sad. It is. But this is a burden that he brought on himself. This is karma coming to call. Knock, knock. That is it. All the blessings I hold in my heart, I am sending out to each and every one of you for an amazing holiday season. I know we're still suffering, we're still struggling, it's still hard. Depending on where you are, families are not able to get together. The Omicron, God, I hope I've said that right, is, what is it? It spread 75 times faster than Delta, so it's everywhere. Now, it's not as, they say it's not as strong, but do take care. Enjoy the season. Count your blessings. If all goes well, I will see you in 2022. And until then, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Take care. Be well. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.